This playthrough is rated T for teen.
Have you ever accidentally ratted your friends out to a fascist organization? I have. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare here with another episode of Syberia, the World Beyond. In the last episode, we got a little bit... Kate walked up the mountain, learned a little bit more about Dana, and now we're swapped back to Dana and her problems dealing with the brown... is that really their name? Then again, I guess make something like less influential or make fun of them is to give them like a silly name. But anyway, the group here is causing trouble. Kate's trying to learn more, and now we can swap back between the two with this little handy dandy ability right here. But it's just mechanics and everything. But
that's a lot of equipment you have there. If you don't mind my asking, how do you manage to pay for it all?
Oh, that's easy. Especially when you know a few generous patrons of the arts, dear.
How's she know that? Well, you know.
Did you take the photos of the athletes? You're not often lonely then.
Well, look at our sweet little waitress. Doesn't she have a saucy mind? It's called art, dear. My work aims to explore every facet of youth and the vitality of bodies.
I bet it does.
Yeah, she gets a really close look at those bodies, if you know what I mean.
Hey, you little snoop. Where do you think you're going?
Just looking.
Yeah, I'm just looking around, causing trouble, seeing all your shoots.
I love your photos.
Ah, well, they each represent an element of mountain wildlife and flora I've photographed recently. I use them as a sort of checklist.
A checklist, huh?
I see. Thought that was like a man standing up as a goat there for a second. I was like, is that the devil? Junta's photo number 1. Nice old-fashioned building there. Photo 2, them going up the mountain with the device there. Photo 3, a mini river. There we go. So you got goat, mountain goat, flower, mountainside, and trees. Ooh, ah.
Junta's blank film, soon to become movies.
It's gonna be magical, the wild world of Hollywood.
All these newspaper clippings mention the brown shadow. According to Father, their influence is growing among the population. Now that I've had the misfortune of meeting Herr Huss here, I understand his concern.
Yeah, you would take him a lot more serious if you called him something other than the brown shadow. Sounds like a fart cloud, you know what I mean? Or you underneath a fart cloud, I don't know. Like I said, you usually use something to make fun of something to lower its its influence. All right, we already did that. Okay, so I'm supposed to look in the chest to find something, which in Kate's time we found out that Lean was a rebel, a no good, dirty rebel. That rebel scum.
Did you take this picture?
Of course.
There's the group there.
And Herr Huss, what's he doing with the Origin expedition?
Unfortunately, all scientific expeditions sponsored by the Brown Shadow come with a chaperone like him. There to make sure their funds are used as they see fit. In other words, that there is no divergence with regards to their ideology.
Ah, I see. A watch pigeon, if they start doing anything not against the code,
How did you get to film them training?
Oh, it was a commission. Lucky, really. Right place, right time kind of thing. Of course, I jumped at the chance because it meant I could film Leon in action at last.
Leon, huh?
How did you and Leon get together? I mean, how did you...
We're just friends, if that's what you want to know.
I feel like that's something... She wants something else for that, but, no, don't kiss and tell and all that.
Herr Gustav's radio. Looks like he customized it, probably to compensate for the wave disturbance due to the mountains.
Yeah, see if there's anything else around here. Other than obviously we had to check for the key for Junta there, but we're waiting to the last second.
Take the key in the coffer, Dana, my sweet.
All right, fine. Let's do it. Ooh ah, wah. Yeah, this old-fashioned like chest of puzzles. Very very weird. Anyway, there's the key.
The key Junta asked me to hide. The key Junta asked me to hide.
Ooh ah.
Dana, be a darling and put the key somewhere safe. You can't be too careful with these mountain people, especially with that little Lenny sniffing around my equipment all the time.
Okay, so this is where we can get an achievement that doesn't activate for quite a while, depending on what you choose. So you can either choose to betray Lenny and tell her that what she's done, or you can be loyal to her and don't denounce her. So if you want to get both achievements, if you're trying to achievement hunt, it's best to go loyal, because that unlocks almost on most consoles and PC. It almost unlocks immediately. And then what you can do is you can Alt F4 if you're doing it on PC, or if you're like doing it on a console, just immediately cut the game out, because you got about a minute before the game autosaves, give or take. And you can close the game out and it'll just reset to right before, and then you can choose the other option, because unfortunately the betrayal achievement doesn't unlock for quite a while. It unlocks like after a couple hours of play or something like that, unless you can speed run it. So to get both, if you're trying to do single run playthroughs, be loyal first, and then and as soon as the achievement pops, close the game or whatever you need to do to get out, so you can choose the other path. But that's up to you if you want to play the game twice. I'm just letting you know. We're gonna betray her, because we're just like that.
I think you ought to know. On the night we first met, when that horrible Huss made such a fuss, I caught Lenny playing with one of your camera lenses.
I knew it. I just knew she was rummaging in my things. I'll make that little brat sorry we ever met. Believe me.
Where do you normally put it?
I have a little hiding place over there.
Okay, so yeah, we need to find the hiding place, which is over here.
Be a darling and put the key in the stash near my bed, would you?
In the stash?
Is this where you want me to put the key?
Yes, there's a dear.
It's a handy hiding place. Who made it?
Oh, Herr Gustav. He knows only too well that some customers have their little secrets, you know.
Junta's key should be safe in there.
Okay, so we want to do this. And close it up.
Just need to finish preparing for the filming tomorrow. Then we can chat away to our heart's content. If you could just fetch me a new roll of film from the darkroom, then we're done.
Okay, so now we can go back to, or we can continue on or play as Kate now that we know where the secret is. Now, how's Kate supposed to know from what Dana's doing? Game mechanics, I guess. I'll show you how that works. Yep. Now we just need to find out where that key is, despite after the fact, so. I was about to say it wasn't letting me inspect stuff there for a second.
This is where Junta's bed used to be, which means her secret stash can't be far. Impossible.
Yeah, I was about to say, can we stop now? We know it's pointless.
Get away.
There's the key right there. I just want to mess with this just because I can.
Wrong one.
Yeah, see. Like I said, most times you don't really get unique like interactions for doing this, so it's just better just to solve it.
Yunta's coffer key.
Da 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 da. Okay, anyway. Okay, so now we can open the machine. Oh, I don't know why I went back in there. Trying to see if there's anything else to really. No, I guess not. Okay. Alright, let's unlock this thing. Put the key in the slot, and you go. Oh wait, wrong thing.
Where can I find the combination for the mechanism?
Okay, so now we need to. We could try to guess it, but we need to go back to Dana. So. Alright, so we kind of already got this, but we're going to do it again just to show off. It's that picture of 4 we saw earlier. So let's take a look at those one more time. So it's goat, flower, mountain, and forest. So. So just switch that until you get goat, and then flower, and then mountain and tree. There you go. And there it is, whatever that is, the viewer, I guess. Okay, now we have to figure out how to spool this thing. That's where we actually look at it. Okay, so what we need to do is put we got the take-up reel, and then we got Junta's film, so you want to put the take-up reel on this one. And then Junta's reel on this one. Or the film, I mean. Alright, let's watch the cutscene. Oh, whoops. Oh, come on. Oh, right.
The screen is in the way.
There we go. I'm learning. I was a projectionist once. Back in the day, but still. Well, that was nice. So anyway, let's remove the this one. Oh, there we go. Now, come on. Roll that back up.
Interesting footage. Let's see what's on the other reel.
Day in the life of Dana, I guess. But let's see what this one's all about. Spool the thread. Play the video. This one's a little bit different. We actually have to control what we're doing here, so. But it's a bit more on rails, so you don't have to worry too much about it. Ooh ah, ooh ah. An old-fashioned camera. Ah, ancient technology. This is too smooth for old-fashioned camera work, though. Have you ever seen old-fashioned movies? This runs way too smooth. I know this is a weird sci-fi world, but still. I mean, the technology is not that far advanced. You know what I mean? It's assumed this is Lena doing this, by the way. You can tell by the shirt. Yeah, she's playing around. How dare you, girl? Causing trouble. She's just a little scamp. Kind of makes you wonder how much, anything to look at? Nope, okay. Yeah, you can't go anywhere else, you have to go forward, so. Yeah, just seeing if there's anything to interact with, so. Yeah, at least it's got nice music playing while we're doing this. Anything else? Nope. Okay. So I say most there's not a whole lot to interact here other than the obvious stuff. Hit. Yeah, come on. Walk around, girl. We have stuff to see. Such a nice place. Ooh. There's the culprit. She's just causing all types of mischief. What the? Creepy little voyeur. Oh. Yeah, it looks like they had an argument or something like that.
Lenny didn't say she filmed a fight between Dana and Leon. I'd better go back and see her to find out about it.
Well then. It's probably about him working for that group or whatever. Because he said he wasn't going to help them or something like that. But now he's got to. I don't know. Time to bug the old broad again. You can't get away from me, old lady. I want the truth from you. Hiding it from me. Finding this girl is the only thing in my life. Even though I could go back to my home and, you know, deal with my sister and all this other stuff. But no, it's, you know, even though we got all the time in the world, really, when you think about it. Oh, there she is now. She's moved. She's not a statue.
Demoiselle Lenny, I saw the film you shot of Dana and Leon.
So Junta kept it. She got so cross when she discovered I'd rummaged through her stuff. She most certainly had secrets of her own, that one.
I know it was ages ago, but can you recall what happened between Dana and Leon that day?
You do like flogging a dead horse, don't you, Fräulein? But as you please. Since Junta never let me use her camera, I decided not to ask her anymore. Like that, she couldn't say no, could she? And that's when I heard them arguing.
How could you agree to this, Leon? How could you?
I told you I had no choice. The local guide for Baltayar can't do it anymore. He got injured.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is he just trying to be a good guy?
There are plenty of other guides in Wagen. Why does it have to be you? Just tell them to find someone else.
Look, Dana, I didn't want to tell you, but...
But what?
Frank Huss, that brute from the other night. He's the one that made the call here. In other words, he's taking revenge by sending me to the other side of the world with the Origin expedition. And he said that if I refused, something might happen. Not just to me, but to you as well.
What do you mean?
You know what I mean. You're a Vegarian and so are your parents, right? Well, Huss says it won't be long before the Brown Shadow is in power, and he made it clear that something was brewing, and that you and your parents would be first on the list.
What list?
I don't know, but it can't be good. Then he said that other Vegarians would follow.
Dear God.
Dana, darling, the world's gone crazy. Promise me you'll be very careful. It will be all right if you just watch yourself and what you say. I've asked Junta to stand by you just in case. It won't be long, darling. Half a school year at the Music Academy. I'll be home for Christmas. Promise. Oh, come here now, my pretty Edelweiss.
Don't call me that. You know I don't like it.
It's true, though. That's exactly where you are, my pretty Edelweiss.
If you keep that up, Leon Kobatis, I'll find you a nickname too.
Go on, then.
All right.
Let's see. Highland Praiser, Mountain Artist.
Your nickname will be Alpine Lover from now on.
All right, but maybe you ought not to say this in public. Beautiful, isn't it? I could stay here forever.
There, Fräulein Walker. That is all I have to say. I hope this time you have what you need to continue on your journey.
Thank you, Demoiselle Lenny. But there is just one more thing. You mentioned a music academy? They must have ledgers and archives. Maybe I'll be able to find out whether Dana left an address there.
Well, it hasn't moved. It's still in Wagen. Go to the musicians' district. It's right next to the musical square. That's all I can tell you. So if you don't mind, Fräulein.
Thank you. Then that's where I'll continue my search.
Is it really worth your while to keep looking for Dana? Is it not just another pipe dream, Fräulein? I get the impression there have been others.
I prefer to look at it as a calling. Besides, I don't have much choice. Thanks to you, she's a part of me now.
As you wish. I hope you find what you are looking for.
Thank you. Again. I've got everything I need from here, I guess. Best get back to the guest house. Get some rest. I'll go to the Music Academy first thing in the morning.
Yeah, we're done with the refuge, so unless anything else pops up, you can...
If I were you, Fraulein, I wouldn't wait too long before returning to the tram. It's a fair trot back to the station, you know?
Yes, yes, yes. As far as I'm aware, there's not... Well, I wonder if that one guy has any... Probably not, but I'll double check with him anyway. And something's weird with the pathfinding in this game. It's not broken, it's just a little awkward at times.
If this goes on, I'll end up reading my way through the entire bookcase.
Okay, we're done then. Nothing else added, so yeah. Yeah, those videos, those images were from a nicer time, but as we know with World War II, things are not going to be much nicer for Dana and herself and her ilk. It's only going to go down here from here. But anyway, after we leave, when we go back to town, it completes the refuge achievement.
I found her, my sweet Katusha. The girl in the painting. Her name is Dana. Dana Rose.
That's nice, Kate. Real nice.
I'm gonna find out who she was, just like I promised you.
Nothing more than a good old adventure to forget your grief, I guess. You should go, Kate, or you're gonna miss the tram.
I guess we're done with retrospective here. I feel like if we knew Katyusha from previous games, maybe I would be a bit more invested in their friendship, but I don't know. It doesn't really do anything for me. Maybe it's because we didn't get to know her long enough to really get an investment on her. Or maybe she was a companion throughout the game and then died like halfway through or something like that, but...
There will always be a train for you.
I felt more sorry for when Oscar, like, you know, in the third game and this game when he ran away, because we had him in multiple games before this happened, so we at least have an emotional attachment to Oscar, but not to Katyusha. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm trying not to knock the game. It's just, you know, it didn't really build it up enough to because usually if we feel for the character as well, I mean, other than the general, oh, she died, that sucks, but I mean, you know, it takes more than it just happening to have an emotional investment, you know. I don't know. Sorry, I'm being a little bit more critical than I should be, but when it comes to earlier games and franchises, I tend to be a bit more forgiving, but later games and franchises, I tend to be a bit more harsher because of technology and writing and all the other tricks of the trade you can at that time. Mainly because in the first couple of games they weren't sure what to do or how to master things, but later on, you know, when they learn the tools of the trade and make multiple games, you can kind of learn and kind of, you know, be more solid when it comes to stuff. But then some people just take steps backwards, it seems like sometimes. And at least with original games, you have that old-fashioned charm of when they were made, so you forgive a lot of its flaws for what it is. I don't know. Oh yeah, the diary. I forgot to check the diary. Vegan, November 29, 2005. Dear Miss Foster, today I went to the famous refuge in the Silver Spiel Mountains where that picture was painted, the one that Kate Walker seems to have become obsessed about since her escape from the mine. I was expecting it to be one heck of a long journey to reach the refuge, but on the way I bumped into a group of alpinists and technicians from the Institute of Forensic Medicine of Vegan. It turned out that they were also heading near the refuge, more precisely to the foot of the infamous pass known as Devil's Pass, to carry out some macabre work. I'll spare you the grim details. Anyway, they kindly offered me a lift to the refuge in their helicopter. Once there, I made the acquaintance of the manageress of the place, a sour-tempered old woman named Lenny. A sly and taciturn old-timer, she wasn't exactly an easy witness to question, I can tell you, all the more so as our meeting took place under the watchful eye of a kind of hired help who must assist the old woman on a daily basis. He was a colossus of a guy and was careful to make himself visible to me, while at the same time keeping his face well in the semi-darkness of the common room. Typical intimidation tactics, which of course were totally useless against me. I mean, I'm from New York, right? I managed to wrinkle the confirmation out of the old dame that Kate Walker had been to the refuge and had questioned the old lady on events that took place in the summer of 1937. Fraulein Lenny ended up caving and begrudgingly told me everything she knew. She spoke a lot about a certain Dana Rose. That's the young woman of Miss Walker's painting. She'd apparently fallen for an alpinist by the name of Leon during that summer. All this was during the preparations for a secret expedition known as Origin. Financed by the Brown Shadow, it was recorded on film by a female filmmaker in vogue at the time, a certain Junta Steinhoff. Apparently this Leon, following a disagreement with the Brown Shadow militiamen, was forced by the fascists to go with the expedition to a faraway land called Baltayar, so causing a painful separation with this Dana Rose. Armed with this knowledge, Kate Walker then continued her research the following day at the Academy of Music of Vegan. That's where I'm headed now to continue my investigation. Alright, now I need to head back to the guest house. Go on. Game. Don't make this a puzzle all on its own, game.
Gosh, what a day.
What's in the grass there?
I hope Oscar's okay, wherever he is. I'm not abandoning him. I just need to find him.
But we're about to leave again. Yes, it looks nice. Cool. Cool aesthetics. The fact it still works after all these years is unbelievable. Almost impossible. Almost like magic. Anyway. Where are you going there, Kate? Man, does the game really just want me to stick with the directional controls of her instead of clicking for fast forward movement? No, I guess this is just the same as before. Fine. Yes, I see it. It's there. Good. Great. Grand. Okay. Inside we go and onto the... Anyone here?
Closed. It's late. Frau Wagner must have gone to bed.
Yeah. Right. Can we enter now? Can we?
I beg you, Kate, please come back and say goodbye to your mother. Call me so we can organize your return in the best conditions possible. Call me for the sake of what's left of our friendship.
There's no point. It's too late, Olivia.
Well, it is with that attitude. That was a year ago, too, and there was months in between the letter, too. Kate, you're just running your own grave there. You're responsible for your own actions there, Kate Walker. Have you learned nothing from the previous games? Anyway, if we go to the computer again. If we finish searching the rest of the stuff, you'll get the computer achievement for searching everything. So you'll earn the browser achievement now. Because we'll actually look over the rest of our locations and everything. Baltayar. Baltayar is a Central Asian country located between Russia and China. The capital and largest town is Kantar. A former British colony, Baltayar was granted independence shortly after the Second World War. It is mostly mountainous, consisting of several mountain ranges separated by valleys and interconnected by a network of caves and prehistoric galleries. 25% of the country is wooded. It is also delimited by the desert steppes as well as the Great Lakes linked together by over 50,000 kilometers of waterway. Baltayar's highest peak is 4,604 meters above sea level and is greatly prized by the mountaineers from all over the world. I assume this is all the same. Dialogue from before. Yeah, we already went over this last time. Yeah, this is all the same from previous. Seeker search.
Nothing relevant. The expedition mustn't have led to any major breakthrough, I guess.
Or none that were posted, anyway. Your origins expedition, genealogy, unravel the mysteries of enlightenment and transcendence, the origins of my expedition, online store, travel articles, shoes, bags. Of course, we don't find anything interesting. This must be the Google search engine. Amber Zone, ancient origin of a myth. I wonder how much they paid to be on the top server browser. Mondial magazine official website, mondaleMag.org. The origins of my expedition, nowadays adventuring, the official blog. The Academy of Music of Vegan. Founded at the beginning of the 19th century, the Academy of Music quickly became a veritable vegan institution. The Academy trained many generations of internationally acclaimed musicians, especially pianists, so contributing to the cultural influence of the town the world over. The Academy is also an architectural curiosity. Built on Vegan's main square, its prodigious world-famous automaton orchestra attracts thousands of tourists and music lovers every year from around the world. Here's even a picture of the... Looks like it's moving, man. The Academy is a place of great importance in Vegan's history and played a crucial role in the tragic events of the Second World War. Following the annexation of Osterhall by the Brown Shadow in 1938, by extension of Vegan, the Brown Shadow turned the Academy into Oberfeldkommandantur, or High Field Command. I love German. Opening the archive has since established historians to prove that soundproof rehearsal rooms were used by the Brown Shadow as prison cells and interrogation rooms. It was in this building that the last moments of the Vegan offensive were played out. The battle that pitched the Red Army and local resistance fires against Brown Shadow forces resulted in the liberation of Vegan. Following bitter negotiations with the other Allied powers, the Red Army handed over the main control of the town to the Americans and British forces to allow the Soviets to focus on their own ongoing liberation of Central Europe. The Allied forces then made the Academy their general headquarters, so allowing time to initiate a transition of power to the relevant civil authorities. Once this was completed, the Academy once again became a prestigious place for learning music. The Academy's recent history, steeped in controversy, owing to a large decline in students over the past 20 years, it has recently been announced that the Academy is on the verge of financial collapse. The council is said to have even taken the decision to close it and to computerize the automaton orchestra, so creating a tourist attraction that can function on a schedule. This decision has triggered loud outcries from the town's heritage advocates who have multiple appeals. These appeals have all been rejected. I think this is the same. Dialogue. Yeah. Brown Shadow is a term used to designate the wave of National Socialism that swept across Europe in the first half of the 20th century, emerging in the wake of the Italian fascism. It first came to light in the 1920s in Central Europe. It rose to power in the 1930s and subsequently won over the rest of Europe, so triggering the Second World War. In addition to civil and military victims of the ensuing conflict, the racial and anti-Semite ideology of the Brown Shadow is responsible for genocides that led to the systematic and organized deaths of millions of people. The genocide against the mentally handicapped resulted in 70,000 to 80,000 victims. A genocide against the Roma caused between 200,000 and 240,000 officially registered victims. However, recent finds may well push that number to 500,000. A genocide against the Jews, nicknamed Vegerans. Was that their name, or are they just using it for this game specifically? Anyway, in certain parts of Central Europe, resulting in around 6 million deaths. These genocides were carried out in a systematic and relentless manner until the liberation of the victims by Allied forces. Yet, they call them Vegerans, but they can't call the Brown Shadow what the actual fascist group's called. Okay, whatever. Anyway, the Brown Shadow also persecuted and murdered numerous people because of their affiliation to other minority groups, be they racial, sexual, political, or cultural. Lenny Renner. The Vegan Gazette.
It's a shame that Demoiselle Lenny is so modest about having been a member of the Resistance. She's a true hero.
Is she? Is she really? 60th anniversary of the liberation of Vegan, a heartfelt tribute to veteran resistance fighters, April 14th, 2005. The ceremony commemorating the 60th anniversary of the liberation of Vegan took place under a clement sky. The procession first passed down Vegan's symbolic memory lane. A heartfelt tribute was given to resistance fighters who indefatigably fought against the fascist invaders throughout the occupation period. Most of the remaining survivors were able to make the journey and deliver moving speeches that deeply touched the assembly. As a reminder, 60 years ago, all the resistance groups of Vegan fought alongside the Red Army and Allied forces to retake the town and Osterhall from the Brown Shadow. There was, however, just one disappointment. Lenny Renner, the well-known manageress of the refuge of Silberger Spiegel and one of the most revered and emblematic resistance fighters of our town, once again refused to join the commemoration. Our local icon describes her refusal as her own particular way of paying tribute to her comrades fallen in combat, and should be taken without the slightest hint of controversy. Given the thunderous applause that punctuated the old lady's name when called out of the podium, this sense of decency and discretion was perfectly understood by all present. Except they'd want her there anyway. Dana.
No results about Dana. She probably never got famous.
Dana, Donna, whatever. Project Donna. Rumors, unannounced Project 2. Dana Rose, biography. 10,000 results, online database. Dana S, fan site. Online altar dedicated to special agent. I wonder if that's a reference to another game or something like that. Rule of Rose. Oh, that's a PS2 horror game. Miss.exe. Download thousands of free. And then R for Rose, alphabetical.org. Junta Steinhoff.
Huh. Junta. Demoiselle Lenny told me a lot about her. But was she some kind of spy?
Born in London in 1912 of Austrian parents, Junta Steinhoff is a filmmaker and photographer. She is famous for her major aesthetical influence on the cinema in the 1930s. She was at the center of several controversies over a presumed role during the Second World War. Initially accused of collaborating with the Brown Shadow, for whom she made several commissioned films, Junta Steinhoff later was found to have worked for the Allied Secret Services, especially the British. Biography. The filmmaker lived in London until 1935. She led mountaineering, sports, and photography, which led her to following the international winter sports competitions for different newspapers and specialized magazines. She sojourned regularly in the Alps, especially in the area situated in Osterhall. Fluent in German and keen to meld in with the population of Osterhall, the filmmaker chose the aesthetic pseudonym of Junta Steinhoff, so borrowing her mother's maiden name while giving a nod to her Germanic origins in the heroine of the mountain film Das Blacklicht, 1922, filmed by the very controversial Leni Riefenstahl. Junta Steinhoff dedicated a large part of her work to filming mountaineers coming from the four corners of the world to challenge the renowned rock faces of Osterhall. The beauty of youth, the magnificent landscapes combined her aesthetical vision so nurtured her passion for both the cinema and photography. Junta Steinhoff was accepted into the very close circle of Osterhall alpinists. Hungry for outstanding record, this circle was in those days very politicized and said to be close to the fascist ideas of the Brown Shadow. These ideas were exemplified by the conquest of untouched peaks exalting the supposed virtues of so-called superior race, whose pureness was equated, according to the racist ideology, to that of snow-capped summits, and was during this period that Junta Steinhoff was commissioned to make films for the Brown Shadow. The political movement soon went from fake patron to financier of pure propaganda. Yet when the Second World War broke out, this artistic aura of the filmmaker enabled her to promote her films both in the capitals of the Axis powers as well as in a fair number of Allied countries. It was revealed that Junta took advantage of these trips to supply precious information to the Allied forces, especially to the Foreign Office in London, who had preventatively approached the young woman during the rise of the Brown Shadow in the 1930s. Upon the liberation of Osterhall, Junta Steinhoff was detained for a few days for a role in the Brown Shadow's propaganda machine. Her status as a double agent soon enabled her to be cleared. The filmmaker has since kept herself to herself, having returned to live in her native England. Huh. Well, there you go. Alright, that should get you the achievement if you've done it all, so. And let's see. Now, we already looked over this too, didn't we? So. Yeah, that was the Fallen Idols thing for her and the mom character, so. I was just double checking to see if there's anything new, but nope. Okay. Yeah, that'll get you the browser achievement.
The more I discover about Dana, the more I get the feeling I'm only scratching the surface of Vaughan's history. Oh, but hey, let's call it a day. I really should go to bed now.
Should you? Did I read this one from before? I think I did. Okay. Never mind, let's get out of here. On to bed. Onwards. To sleep. To sleep.
Is that you, Katie?
Yes, Mom! I mean, who else can it be?
I was thinking we're having a dream sequence with young Kate here. Our secondary objective is just to examine the whole house before you leave, so let's take a look around.
Looks like Mom's friends came over again last night. She's been seeing them a lot since what happened to Dad. Maybe too much.
Oh dear.
Mommy, can I go out and play with Olivia?
That depends on you, Munchkin. Did you finish your homework?
Yeah. More or less.
So I can come check it then, right, Katie?
Actually, it looks too cold to go out. Think I'll stay in.
Just what I was thinking.
Not fair.
Uh-huh. I was a kid once. We always all faked finishing our homework. Mr. Richard Walker.
Another letter for Dad. Last time it took Mom days to find the strength to open it. Last time it took Mom days to find the strength to open it.
Yeah. I guess he was just a Mr. No-Show. Went out to get the milk and never came back. Why is it always milk? Gift from Grandpa and Grandma.
Grandpa and Grandma from New York gave it to me for my last birthday. I really ought to read it, or at least dog-ear the pages so it looks like I did.
Yeah, just pretend it. Yeah, what was it called again? The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. There's a very specific book we want to check, though, which is over here. Letter from Grandpa and Grandma. Our dear Sarah, your father and I would like to express our deepest sorrow at what happened to Richard. We are worried about your welfare, darling Sarah. You might be fully grown adult, but we still worry about you. We wanted you so much, but you were our miracle child, so even now as a young woman with a daughter of her own, it's hard for us to see you suffer. You have always been our pride and joy. Just remember, darling, we are here for you should you need us. We will always be here for you as long as we breathe. We shall be with you whatever happens in the spring for your birthday. Remember, just let us know if you want us to stay with you for a while until you're back on your feet. We shall beat you down as fast as you can say, Jack Robinson. Deepest love, Mama and Papa.
The piano that Mom ordered will soon be here. Couldn't bring myself to tell her that I wanted a drum kit instead.
Uh-oh. Wah wah. The piano the Mom ordered should arrive anytime soon. Uh-oh. Pills. Grabbing pills.
Mom bought those again.
Can't really tell what type of pills, but you can tell that they're fun time pills. Happy pills. Alright, well, anyway. Yeah, anyway, I forgot that book we looked, unless there's something else here I'm missing. That book we looked up, that gets you the classic novel achievement. As long as you read the book in Silver Spiegel in the first part, you'll get the achievement for looking up those two books. So.
Oh, hello, Munchkin.
Hey, Mom.
Get back to your reading.
Wow. I hope I get to travel around the world too when I grow up.
Soon, Kate, soon. You'll just have to do all these crazy things with a crazy short man and everything, and a robot. Geo Magazine, The Hidden Mystery of the Amazon. No, don't get this yet. Hold off on that.
We haven't seen Grandpa and Grandma for a long time. Mom says they'll probably come over from New York on her birthday.
Alright then. Grandpa and Grandma, the best types of people. Yeah. I mean, obviously he did. Yeah, I was joking about the whole milk thing. We know. Anyway.
Is everything okay, Katie?
You know, the whole dad being gone and all that fun stuff. I think that's it for everything we can examine. Alright, looked at that.
I'd love to play with Mom's music box in the living room.
Okay. If you find all the second... I was double checking to make sure I found everything. If you check all the secondary objectives by this point, you should get the...
Come on, I've been cooped up in my room for hours. Jeez. Pulling my hair out, trying to figure out the math problem Miss Wormwood gave us. I deserve a break, right?
Sure. But anyway, you get the... you get the halfway there achievement for doing all the objectives by this point, for those who have been paying attention. Alright, well anyway, let's check this. This'll, if you pick this up, this takes you up to the next section, so keep that in mind if you want to complete the objectives. So if you continue exploring, you can do that, but if you're done, grab it. Take it!
You forgot your music box.
Be careful with that, please, Munchkin.
Where'd this come from?
I already told you. Your grandma and grandpa gave it to me when I was little.
Doesn't look like it's from New York, though.
I don't know. Must have been in the family forever.
I just love it.
You've always liked it. Ever since you were little.
Will you give it to me when I'm big?
Maybe, if you're a good girl, when I get old.
So when will that be then?
Later, Katie.
But when?
In a very, very long time, I guess. When I'll be gone.
All right, well, looks like we had an interesting... You know, the funny thing about this whole franchise is that in the first two games, the whole mom character was kind of seen as almost like a jokey, like, overbearing mom type of character. Like, oh, mom, you're crazy. And then all of a sudden, by the fourth game, all of a sudden we had this introspective where, you know, like, how much we missed her and all this other stuff. Like, it's... If you play all these games back-to-back, it's almost kind of jarring when you think about it. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Then again, I guess it's like real life. It's just kind of funny in a way. That's the way I see it anyway. But anyway, we've learned a little bit more about Kate, her thoughts, and a bit about Mordana. But we've got more story to tell and more adventures to go through. Can we get ourselves up and ready to go and to head ourselves to the Music Academy? Can we learn to carry a tune? We'll find it next time in the next episode of Syberia, the World Beyond. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.